Probably easy to press the mute button when I hear such news. It's probably easier to scroll past an activist page on Facebook. It's probably easy to wait for Suhailo to post something on his page, comment what you feel, and go on with your day. It's probably easy to wait for Boniface to demonstrate on your behalf. After all, I don't have to leave my house. I can have my groceries delivered at my doorstep. What are the chances of me becoming a statistic? What are the chances of my name being added to the statistics? But maybe it's easy to ignore the fact that these are actually people. But it's not. It's not, because even here in my house I feel vulnerable. And as the noise for George Floyd becomes louder in your handset, the noise for your brothers and sisters is a relentless tugging at my heart. You feel helpless. No. I feel helpless. I want to help. I want to make it better for them. I want the tugging at my heart to ease up. Is there something I can do? Can I be brave? Can I be bold? Can I stand up for those who are forced to kneel? And what is it that makes me better? What is it? What? I am alive. That is what. I'll quote Benjamin Franklin's words. He said, "Justice cannot be served until the unaffected becomes as outraged as the affected." Yes, it's probably easy to log off and watch a movie. But what about him? What about him? Yasin, 13. A 13-year-old boy. He looks like he was a cool kid. He looks like the kind of kid that will be sent to the shop and find a way to make an extra cent. He looks like he knew what was going on. He looks like the kind of kid that would grow up and change his life and that of his family. You know what they say? They say home is the place where you feel safest. And he was at home. He was at his home. What if he wasn't on that balcony that day? Would he have? So what? He was on that balcony. So what? He should be on that balcony today. He should. That balcony was his right. What if Miss Juma did not agree to take the pregnant woman to the hospital? Would it have been 3 lives lost? And in a country that is all about 0 maternal deaths, Khamis should be a hero. Still is. His 5 children should be probably washing his motorbike as he prepares to go for his daily boda rides. He should be rushing out of his house wearing his gloves and mask. He should be giving out instructions to his younger ones. That motorbike ride to the hospital was his right. It was his right. What about Vitalis Owino? What did his friends call him? Owino? Owish? His widow probably called him Vitalis when in a bad mood, and maybe called him Vita or Vita when in a good mood. That is probably the last thing he called him that night when he left to go to the toilet. He smiled at her, told her he'll be back with dinner because the money he was expecting had been sent. Right now, probably he should be having breakfast with his wife. He should have returned from that toilet. That toilet cost his life. No. He was killed by the police. That toilet was his life, though. That toilet was his right. But was he from Meru? I don't know. What kind of man was he? Was he funny? Was he political? Was he moody? Would he be the kind of man to tell me every morning, "Eish, mresh leo umetokelezea"? Or the kind of man who will mark my hours and tell me, "Leo umechelewa," while sorting out the plastic bags he had collected? I smile. I smile because I think of the area clown. I feel like he must have been a funny guy. A funny guy that should be waking up from his veranda. But in a country such a broken system, no. You know, the veranda was not his right. No. His right was a decent house. His life was his right. You know, I'm saying this, and these are just words. These are just words. I feel inadequate and powerless. I feel helpless. I want to be able to stand up for the right of life. I want to be able to stand up for the right of life. I want to be able to stand up for David, Ramadan, Ibrahim, Benson, Eric. I want to say no to police not protecting and serving. I am saying no. But can they hear me? Maybe it's easier not to say these things. Maybe it's easier not to post this monologue. Maybe it's easier to be afraid of the people who will make this post about political correctness. Maybe it's easier to be afraid and honest not to say how I feel. Maybe it's easier not to tell you how I feel heartbroken, how I feel hurt, how I feel helpless, how I feel inadequate. Yeah. And maybe it's easier to end this here.